We're at the 1 year anniversary of the Freedom Convoy first taking root in Ottawa. And I think if you were to sit down most Canadians and talk to them about what went on 12 months ago, ask them for their perspectives on it, I think they'd have a more sympathetic view of what the convoy was doing now than they did then. Of course, there were many Canadians who supported the convoy, but a lot of people who didn't, for whatever reason, because they had exaggerated fears about where the virus was at that point in time, or because they heard things said by politicians or reported in the media about what was going on at the Freedom Convoy that just weren't true. Reports of violence, or that the reason they were there was to aggressively overthrow the government, or that they tried to burn down an Ottawa apartment building. That was being trafficked as one of the lies that was later exposed to be false. But I think a year later, Canadians step back and you say, hey, remember it was only 12 months ago that the schools in Ontario, at least, were shut. You couldn't go into a store without a mask on, and there were people who were being fired from their jobs because they didn't have 2 doses of the vaccine. People go, oh yeah, that was kind of something. And you put to them now, look, we had this virus, there are people dying of it, you want to help people out, you want to support the healthcare system, but do you not think that maybe some of that was just a bit too overbearing, a bit too extreme? And I think people now that they've had some distance from it, are able to maybe think through that, yeah, I think maybe it was a bit of overkill. And, if there's one or two people that just didn't want to wear the mask for whatever reason, okay, fine. You don't need to lose your marbles about it. And ultimately, what I saw the Freedom Convoy symbolizing was people saying, give us some breathing space, give us some room, allow us our individuality, allow us our humanity. The idea that you need 100% of people to submit to these things, I mean, that's just not on. That was always a very authoritarian impulse that the government really seized and really ran with. And it was really frustrating to see that take hold. And it did gain a lot of public support at times. And it was kind of worrisome that no matter what happened in other countries, because Canada, particularly Ontario, was one of the last holdouts for having severe COVID-19 restrictions, a lot of people still supported it. And I think looking back, the idea that some Canadians, and of course, one of the other falsehoods about the people who participated in the convoy was that they were monolithic in their demographic. It was really people from all walks of life and even all different political backgrounds. It was really interesting to see what happened there, that this was a sign of people saying, hey, government, just give us a little space, give us a little breathing room, and just lay off on the aggressiveness of these measures. And I hope when we look back a year later, one of the main things that we can acknowledge as a society is, yeah, stuff was just too hardcore, and it's reasonable. People are going to disagree on different aspects of this, that, and the other. That's only human. But this idea that everybody must do this, everybody must submit to these different edicts, I mean, that's just wrong. And that's not how a free society works.